The check-in counter at Jorge Chávez International Airport in Lima buzzed with excitement. It was January 2024, and a group of 15 Peruvian university students from San Marcos University stood in line, backpacks loaded, phones out, taking selfies. Their professor, Dr. Elena Vargas, counted heads for the third time. Everyone has their passports? Boarding passes? A chorus of "Si, professora" echoed back. They were headed to Bangkok, Thailand, for a 2-week cultural exchange program focused on Southeast Asian history and architecture. Months of planning, fundraising, and anticipation had led to this moment. Maria, a 21-year-old history major, clutched her Thailand guidebook. "I can't wait to see the Grand Palace," she whispered to her friend Diego, "and the floating markets." Diego grinned. "I'm here for the street food. Pad Thai every day." The flight attendant called their group. They boarded, settled into their seats, and as the plane lifted off, they cheered. 13 hours later, they landed. Exhausted but excited, they shuffled through the arrival gate, following signs in a language they didn't recognize. "The Thai alphabet looks so different in person," Maria said, squinting at the signs. Diego nodded. "It's beautiful, though. Very intricate." They collected their luggage and headed toward customs. Dr. Vargas approached the immigration officer, handing over the group's documents. The officer, a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes, examined the passports. Then she looked up, confused. "Ma'am, you are aware this is Manila, correct?" Dr. Vargas blinked. "I'm sorry. What?" The officer repeated slowly. "This is Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Manila, Philippines." The words hung in the air like a punch that hadn't landed yet. Dr. Vargas stared at the officer. That's not possible. We're supposed to be in Bangkok, Thailand." The officer turned the passport to show the visa stamp. "Your tickets were for Manila. You're in the Philippines." Behind Dr. Vargas, the students began to realize something was wrong. Maria grabbed Diego's arm. "Did she just say Philippines?" Dr. Vargas felt her chest tighten. She pulled out her phone, opened her email, and scrolled frantically to the booking confirmation. Her hands trembled as she read the departure and arrival cities. Lima to Manila, not Lima to Bangkok. She'd booked the wrong country, 15 students, 2 weeks of planning, university funds, and they were 2,800 kilometers from where they were supposed to be. The students crowded around her, voices rising. "What happened? Are we in the wrong place? How do we get to Thailand?" Dr. Vargas felt 15 pairs of eyes on her. She took a breath. "I made a mistake. I booked flights to Manila instead of Bangkok. I'm so sorry." The silence was crushing. Maria felt tears sting her eyes. All those months of preparation, the excitement, the plans, gone. Diego looked at his Thailand guidebook and closed it slowly. One student, Luis, spoke up. "Can we get another flight? To Bangkok?" Dr. Vargas checked her phone. The cost of 15 last-minute tickets to Thailand would exceed their entire program budget. They couldn't afford it. She shook her head. "We can't." "I'm sorry." Another student, Carmen, asked quietly, "So what do we do?" Dr. Vargas looked around the airport. Filipinos passed by, speaking Tagalog, some in English. Signs pointed to Manila city center. She made a decision. "We're already here. We'll make the most of it. The Philippines has incredible history, Spanish colonial architecture, beautiful culture. It's not Thailand, but it's not nothing." The students exchanged glances. Some looked angry, others looked defeated. But they followed Dr. Vargas out of the airport. They checked into a budget hotel in Ermita, Manila. The rooms were small, the air conditioning weak. Maria sat on her bed and opened Instagram. She posted a photo of their group at the airport with the caption, "Plot twist. We're in the Philippines, not Thailand. Still processing this." The comments started immediately. "Wait, what? How does that even happen? That's actually hilarious. Make the best of it." Diego posted on Twitter. "Flew 13 hours to the wrong country. AMA." The tweet went viral within hours. Filipino netizens found it first. One comment read, "Welcome to the Philippines. Not what you expected, but you're in for a surprise." Another, "Thailand has temples. We have 7,641 islands. You lucked out." A popular Filipino travel vlogger, Miguel Santos, saw the story trending. He had 800,000 followers and a reputation for showcasing hidden gems in the Philippines. He sent Dr. Vargas a direct message. "I saw your story. I'm in Manila. Can I meet you tomorrow? I'd like to help." Dr. Vargas, exhausted and desperate for any positive turn, agreed. The next morning, Miguel arrived at their hotel with a camera crew and a plan. "Look," he said, "you didn't plan to be here, but you are. The Philippines has something Thailand doesn't. We have over 300 years of shared history with Latin America through Spain. You'll find things here that feel familiar in unexpected ways." He showed them an itinerary. Intramuros, the walled city built by the Spanish. Churches that looked like they belonged in Lima. Museums with colonial artifacts identical to those in Peru. Filipino Spanish cuisine. Even the Catholic traditions mirrored their own. Maria looked at the itinerary, then at Diego. Something shifted. Miguel continued, "Plus, I'll film your journey. Show the world what happens when plans go wrong, but you stay open." Dr. Vargas felt a weight lift slightly. "Okay," she said, "let's do it." They started in Intramuros. Walking the cobblestone streets, the students fell silent. The architecture was hauntingly familiar. San Agustin Church could have stood in Cusco. The stone walls, the Baroque details, the plaza layout, it all echoed home. Carmen touched the wall of Fort Santiago. "This looks like the forts in Cartagena." Luis nodded. Because they were built by the same empire, same era, same purpose. Miguel filmed their reactions, the confusion melting into recognition, the unexpected connection. That evening, they ate at a Filipino restaurant. The menu included dishes with Spanish names. Adobo, though different from their version. Empanadas, smaller but familiar. Lechon, roasted pig, just like their own celebrations. Diego tried Halo Halo, a dessert he couldn't have imagined. "This is chaotic and amazing," he said, laughing for the first time since landing. Miguel posted the first video that night. It went viral immediately. Filipinos flooded the comments. "This is why I love our history. They're discovering what we share. Someone sponsor these kids," Peruvians joined in. "They're representing us well. This is wholesome content. Proud of how they're handling this." A Filipino travel company, Island Hoppers Inc., reached out to Miguel. "We want to sponsor the rest of their trip. Flights to Palawan, Boracay, accommodation, activities, everything. No charge." Miguel showed Dr. Vargas the message. She read it twice, then covered her mouth with her hand. "Are you serious?" Miguel grinned. "Dead serious. You're going to see the Philippines properly." The students couldn't believe it. What started as a disaster was turning into something unexpected. They flew to Palawan. The limestone cliffs of El Nido took their breath away. Maria stood on a boat, surrounded by turquoise water and towering karsts. "I can't believe we almost missed this," she whispered. Diego swam in the clear water. "Thailand has beaches, but this is unreal." They visited the underground river, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They island hopped, snorkeled, ate fresh seafood cooked on the beach. Miguel filmed everything. The students' joy, their surprise, the way disaster had transformed into adventure. The videos racked up millions of views. News outlets picked up the story. Peruvian students' travel mistake becomes viral sensation. Wrong country, right experience. Students discover Philippines. Even international media covered it. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera. The students became accidental ambassadors. In Boracay, they met Filipino students from the University of the Philippines. A cultural exchange happened organically. The Filipinos taught them Tagalog phrases. The Peruvians taught them Spanish slang. They discovered their languages shared dozens of words. Ventana, bintana, mesa, mesa, cuchara, cutsara. The Spanish colonial legacy had left linguistic fingerprints on both sides of the Pacific. They laughed at the similarities, marveled at the connection. One evening, sitting on White Beach watching the sunset, Maria turned to Dr. Vargas. Professora, I was so angry at first, but this has been the most incredible experience of my life. Dr. Vargas smiled, her eyes damp. Mine too, Diego added. We learned something we never would have in Thailand. We learned how big our shared history is, how connected we are to people on the other side of the world. The trip ended 2 weeks later. At the airport, Miguel and dozens of Filipino friends they'd made came to see them off. There were tears, hugs, exchanges of Instagram handles, and promises to stay in touch. Maria held her new Filipino friend Jasmine tightly. I'll come back, I promise. Jasmine nodded. And I'll visit Peru. We'll show you around properly. On the flight home, Dr. Vargas reflected on what had happened. A mistake that could have ruined everything had instead created something beautiful. She taught her students the most important lesson of all. Plans matter, but adaptability matters more. Mistakes can become opportunities, and sometimes the best experiences are the ones you never planned for. When they landed in Lima, the students were greeted as minor celebrities. Local news wanted interviews. Their university hosted a presentation about their accidental cultural exchange. Dr. Vargas stood before the administration, expecting reprimand. Instead, the dean smiled. You've done more for international relations than any planned program could have. Well done. The university established a formal exchange program with the University of the Philippines. The two countries' tourism boards collaborated on a campaign highlighting their shared heritage. And every year since, a new group of students travels between Peru and the Philippines, intentionally this time, building bridges across the Pacific. Miguel's videos accumulated over 50 million views. The comment sections became spaces where Filipinos and Latin Americans discovered their connections. Language, religion, colonial history, food, even humor. The algorithm had united people who'd never thought about their shared past. Maria graduated with honors. Her thesis was on Spanish colonial architecture in the Philippines and Peru. She returned to Manila 3 times, each visit deepening her understanding. Diego became a travel blogger, focusing on cultural connections and unexpected journeys. His most popular series was titled Wrong Turns, Right Destinations. Dr. Vargas never made another booking mistake, but she also never regretted that one, because she learned that the best teachers are often our failures. The strongest connections come from vulnerability, and the most memorable journeys are the ones where you end up exactly where you didn't plan to be. Years later, at a conference in Madrid, Dr. Vargas met a Filipino professor. They shared a drink and swapped stories. He laughed when she told him about the booking mistake. You know what's funny? He said. We Filipinos have a word for that. Bahala na. It means come what may. You just have to trust that things will work out. Dr. Vargas raised her glass. To Bahala na then. They clinked glasses. Two educators from opposite sides of the world, connected by history, by chance, by a wrong flight booking. The netizens were right all along. Wrong country, right experience. Sometimes the best destination is the one you never meant to reach. And the greatest lessons come from the mistakes you're brave enough to embrace.